Welcome back to Road to Fire. We're a family of three documenting our journey to FIRE, financial independence, retire early. Let's chat about dynamic safe withdrawal strategy. We'll talk about how we plan to use it in early retirement and factors to consider with all the numbers like always, so please hang with me. So we plan to use a 3.5% safe withdrawal rate based on our current investing horizon, age, risk tolerance, and spending habits we expect in early retirement. But as my husband and I started thinking about what we wanted to do once we hit 5, we realized that this might not be the right number for us every decade. So we started looking into dynamic safe withdrawal strategy or dynamic retirement spending. As we get older, our spending habits will definitely change. As we move into different life stages, our needs, costs, and wants will shift as well. Now, I don't want to actively manage a portfolio or safe withdrawal rate in retirement as I'm all for a passive strategy, but I do see the benefits of this type of approach. Think about it. In your 50s, 60s, 70s, and onward, your life will go through 2, if not 3, major life transitions. This made my husband and I think about how we can plan accordingly for these shifts versus a one-size-fits-all for everything. Let me explain though. But first, what is dynamic safe withdrawal strategy? Dynamic safe withdrawal strategy is designed to change annual retirement distributions based on actual market performance, inflation rate, and your spending needs. Essentially, it's adjusting your spending during retirement based on the market conditions and current inflation rates. For example, year 1 of retirement, the market is down 10% and inflation is shifting. Instead of taking out the standard 4%, you might cut back and take out only 2% for that given year. On the flip side, if the market is up, say over 25%, hashtag 2020, you might be more inclined to take out more in that given year or higher than the standard 4% rule. But for us personally, we are more focused on our cash flow adjustments throughout early retirement versus the market conditions or inflation, as we plan to use a conservative safe withdrawal rate throughout our entire FIRE journey. Most people stick to a consistent safe withdrawal rate each year, but dynamic safe withdrawal strategy becomes more important, especially with the ever-changing conditions of the market. But if you decide this path, there are a few factors to consider. So here are just a few levers or factors that you should consider. Now, Vanguard did a great job outlining this on their site, and I'll link the website below if you want to get into the details. But first is to understand your investing timeline or the investor time horizon. When do you need the funds? Second is your portfolio's asset allocation, and I made an entire video on this, but how are your assets weighted? Are you weighted heavily in cash, real estate, stocks, bond, cryptos, or so forth? Third is spending flexibility. Do you need the same amount of money each year at a fixed rate, or can it be dynamic? And this is a huge factor for us. And lastly is the degree of certainty, or I'll phrase it like this, your risk tolerance. There are many other levers that should be evaluated, but this is a great foundation if you're thinking about getting into a dynamic safe withdrawal rate strategy. Now, our safe withdrawal plan is very simple. Instead of changing our withdrawal rate by the year, we'll change it by the decade to align more with our life changes or life cycles. Right now, my husband and I are in our early 30s, and we hope to retire in our early 40s. So once we hit 5, it should be about year 2029 or 2030 if all goes as planned. Now, for the first decade, we will still expect to work in some sort of form or fashion. So I expect us to need maybe a 2% withdrawal rate for our $1.9 million that will cover our base expenses at about $39,000 a year. The rest will be used to create and build more miscellaneous cash flow streams to help us sustain our life in the future. Then, in our 50s, as we transition out of our traditional W-2 work and leverage and lean more on our cash flow or passive income streams, we will move that up to about the 3% or 3.5% safe withdrawal rate. And by our 60s, we'll be using the 4% rule. And then in our 70s, the main goal for us will be finding ways to give about 50% of our income. So taking out a much higher percentage to give away more of our money as we age. Now, this is our plan right now, and I honestly feel we will stick to this unless life gives us a couple of curveballs, which is usually expected. So what is your current planned safe withdrawal rate, or would you ever use a dynamic format? Now, I asked my community this recently, and the 4% was the resounding answer. Now, I wasn't surprised, as this is basically the rhetoric in the FIRE community and what the Trinity Study is founded on. Despite us having our FIRE investments available, in a perfect world, we would never have to touch it. We'd be able to cash flow all of our expenses and some via our passive income streams outside of investments. Now, that's the ultimate goal. Now, I know FIRE is important, and that's all I'm about here on this channel, but what if we didn't need to wait for a FIRE investment number? For the last year or so, we've been working really hard on this, and it's a slow grind, but it's finally making some progress. Cash flow is what we are really seeking, and to be exact, monthly cash flow. Our passive income report started with just under $100 a month, and well, now we're averaging around $2,000 a month and hoping to grow that to the point where we'll be able to cover all of our base expenses. So how are we progressing? Here's our August passive income report for the year. I did not upload a July report, but we'll share the numbers in our trend graph in a minute. First is a constant for us. We received $1,200 from rental income. Now I hope this will grow to over $2,500 once we rent out our unit by the end of this year. Second source is from Google AdSense. For my channel here, we earned $635 even in August. I would say I have been posting about 1 to 2 videos less than normal, so I'm still happy to see this number grow in the last few months. We then received $109.50 from our affiliated marketing links. I have about 3 or 4 links of products and services I love in my description box for each of my videos. For cashback, we received $74.50, which is about on par with what we have been seeing each month. And I don't see any major changes here month over month, as our spending continues to be the same relatively each month. Interest on our Capital One savings account come in at about $7.59. Back in the day, $7.59 would be able to get you a Chipotle burrito, but times have definitely changed, but I'm still grateful for any form of free money. And for Ibotta, I earned $5.75, which is about where I expected. Our target, or my target addiction, has definitely been curbed lately. Now for dividends, we received $4.71. We received our dividends quarterly, so I expect to see a big jump next month. So in August, we earned a total of $2,037 in passive income, which is probably our lowest earning month in the last 4 to 5 months, but still over our target of about $2,000 a month, so I'm definitely grateful. So let me preface that I've been just so busy with work and tired lately, so haven't been really hustling on the side as I expected, so the numbers are definitely underwhelming. For surveys, I made $63 even, and I hope to be closer to $100, but that just didn't happen. No online sales yet, but we are moving soon, so I expect this to go back up. And I'm working on some consulting projects and hope to see the product of my work soon. So in total, we made $63 in side hustle income in August, which is definitely mad, but that's expected based on all the things that are happening in our life right now. I hope to pick this up by the last quarter of the year. So here's our 2021 Dividends Tracker. This outlines the dividends we have received this year from our index funds, as well as our individual stock portfolio that is now 100% housed within M1 Finance. Now I'm so happy I left Robinhood for M1 Finance, as this platform suits my needs better, especially with all the detailed pies. Now if you want to transfer to a great investing platform, check out M1 Finance. I do have a link in my description box to get you started if you're interested. So right now, most of our dividends come from our index funds within Vanguard on our non-taxable and taxable brokerage accounts. We are working on building up our dividends within our M1 Finance account for future use during FIRE. Year to date, we're averaging about $237.87 in dividends a month, and that is lower than our last update, as our next dividend payment is at the end of this month, so the average should go back up to about $310 a month. So here's our passive income trend report that captures the last 6 months of our passive income. So in July, we brought in around $2,288, which is lower than June and August, but still over our monthly goal. We are always trying to hit at least $2,000 a month in passive income for this year. But in August, we hit a 6-month low with just over $2,000 of passive income coming in, but I'm still okay with that. To be honest, August was definitely a trying month for us on a personal, professional, mental, and spiritual level, but I'm getting back on the grind in September, so I'm hopeful for this number to go up then. So despite having a few low months, I know September will be better as our dividend payments will come in, and that should be about $1,000. Right now, we're averaging about $2,316 a month this year, and that works for me because this time last year, we're averaging around $200 in passive income, so definitely a lot of progress on our end. Despite working towards a dynamic spending plan with an early retirement, when we do reach FI, I know it'll be hard for me to quit my job. I absolutely love what I do day to day, but who knows, I might change my mind in a few years. I find my job to be easy because it comes natural to me, and if someone is willing to pay me for it, that's a double win in my book. Now, my husband also loves what he does, but just prefers to work remotely, so once he finds that job, I doubt he'll be able to quit as well. I think what's hard for me mentally is losing the consistent check each month. Now, I know our passive income will grow and can replace most of our current income, but the transition will be hard. Now, I'm years away from that, but I'm just thinking out loud here. But do you plan on quitting your job when you reach FI overall? This is such a funny quote to me. Now, if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. I know we have mapped out our plans for the next, 30 years or so, but honestly, things are bound to change. I do believe in planning. I mean, that is the basis of my channel, but I find it funny whenever I write out all my plans because somehow things always tend to shift or adjust. Regardless, we'll keep chugging along and keeping our plans to fire because I definitely believe it will be worth it in the long run. But I can't wait to imagine a day when you can wake up and don't have to think about money. I'm itching for it now more than ever. Now, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. But don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe below. Until next time.